have a great audience today. I'm very pleased. Okay, that's a good job. Okay, thank you all for joining. And a warm namaste from me. My name is Ashish Sadekar, and today's topic that we have is a pretty interesting topic. This is so our team researches on the topics that can be useful, okay, or are relevant, and they do some research by looking at some sites, doing a survey, and this was a topic selected by my team: is disciplined agile better than traditional agile? Settling the agile debate. So I think it's a pretty interesting topic. I love this. Okay, something that, okay, I have been talking with a lot of people recently, a lot of organizations recently. So I think it's a very nice topic that I want to take it up. So a warm welcome to all of you. A good morning for people joining from the United States, Canada, okay, and a good afternoon for our European African friends, and a good evening to the Indian friends. Okay, nice. Okay, have no. Thanks for joining this session today. Uh, a little about me. So this is what I do: project management. I love this topic, and I thought of devoting my rest of my career developing some great content and building awareness, giving it back. Okay, and this is was my ikigai, as some of you might be knowing. I love what I do, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction and content. And even it's true with today's webinar. So, thanks all of you for joining this webinar. I'm going to talk about a lot of topics, okay, on agile, traditional agile, what are these misconception a little bit, and then go to disciplined agile and do a comparison, okay. In fact, I had done a lot of comparison which I got a good feedback. Okay, I got a bad feedback as well from some, but I generally got a good feedback. Thanks for sharing it. Was feedback. I did comparisons between the different agile methods. By the way, how many agile practices or frameworks or methods are there currently in the world for many organizations? Any guesses? Okay, you can type it in um, the question and answer there. But any guesses how many methods are there, or how many practices are currently there of agile in the world? Okay, no answers. Okay, I also do not know the answer. Okay, yeah, Dipankar, I also do not know the answer. Your number might be true, but it's more than 100 for sure. And there are a lot of popular practices on that, right? So I think anyone who tailors something and they call it their own agile method, and they have become popular. So it got mushroomed. That agile whole landscape got like there was a Spotify CIO, and no, Spotify is known for doing a lot of new agile practices. And what they do is they constantly evolve themselves, and they try new things and what works for each and every team. So in 2012, you know, they did pretty well, and many organizations started copying what they used to do. And Of course, that was a lag, right? After they did something, some organization copied it, was a year later. So there was a public internet announcement by the then CIO of Spotify, and he said that please do not copy us, because that practices which we were doing has become irrelevant. We are not following that anymore. So they keep on evolving and developing new things. You can call it tailoring, you can call it new practices, new frameworks, but we call them continuously improving and evolving the way we work. And I think that's pretty important. Okay, there are numerous agile practices currently available. But when I talk, okay, the history of agile, or okay, the roots of agile, okay, it goes pretty back. Okay, So the scientific method, I had written a blog on that, a great article. The scientific methods were applied in project management during the 1950s. So Gantt chart and all these things came into fore during that period. Okay, when there was USSR, America, large projects being taken over. That's what typically it started applying this, scientific method for developing a schedule and all. Project management can be age old, right? You're building a pyramids or big temples in India. You can definitely must have used really good project management skills, but scientific methods are traced back to 1950s, and the roots of agile are typically these three. Okay, and I will try to elaborate that. So when it comes to manufacturing, so during the after the World War II, Edward Dennings, uh, tried to apply improvements or process improvements in manufacturing, typically to the Toyota. Is hired by Toyota, and he developed a lot of practices in Toyota which are called lean. Okay, and agile has a very good roots in lean. I think agile is lean. No, this is my personal statement, but agile is lean repackaged. Okay, and called agile. Okay, so this is something which is very true. So there are a lot of things taken from lean, and lean is a very fascinating subject. Also, okay, in 1990s, okay, what happened was lot of the waterfall model was challenged, and there were people who used to do things differently. So in 1996, I think the XP founder Kent Beck, I guess, he did the extreme programming with the Chrysler payroll system, and he talked about a lot of new methods like refactoring, pair programming, automated testing, and these concepts are factored in. Okay, in a lot of this agile, current methods and practices. So XP has been credited with a lot of this initial ideas of agile. And the team management is something which is taken from the Scrum. Okay, so in 1986 there was this article in, I think, HBR, Harvard Business Review, where uh, there was this Japanese guys who wrote about this, used the word Scrum. Scrum is a rugby kind of a phrase where people rearrange themselves to score another point. Okay, it's kind coming back and forming a queue and restart the game. Okay, at every time you score a goal, so you start from the center line and do that. That whole phrase is called a scrum. Okay, rather than a relay. Okay, which is like a waterfall model. You pass the baton from one to another, which was sequential at that time. So they reinvented that, how the teams should be formed, and how the concept of iterations, doing it as a team, and that gives credit to the Scrum. So these are your roots of agile. And of course, in the early 2000, you got the agile manifesto, and we formed the values and principles of agile. Okay, so that's where it started, and now it's like become a necessity for a lot of organizations. Even PMP has a lot of agility in their syllabus now. So agility is something, is a way of thinking, right? I do a lot of agile workshop, and there are so many myths or misconceptions about agile. Like many I have seen talk, at least in the Indian context. I meet a lot of Indian kind of organizations. Uh, they think agile is scrum, or agile is a practice, which is not really true. Agile is your way of thinking, and they confuse it with method. Like methods are becoming are taking over the purpose, right? They are becoming more important than the purpose, and that's something which is like a threat. So I will come to that. But these are your roots of agile, and that's where agility started. And of course, the people who took the baton of making the manifesto, a couple of guys started the Scrum Alliance, and which is a very popular method today. I'm going to talk about that. But there has been a lot of this. There is nothing called traditional agile, okay? But since that is the word used by my team, I took that word because many people think, okay, traditional agile, and they kind of package, okay, somewhere, in a good marketing organizations or uh, people package it as a good terms, right? Traditional agile, new agile, whatever it is, popular agile. But these are your older agile practices that are in the forefront. And I am not aware of what is called traditional agile. There are many agile practices, and also Scrum, XP are currently relevant as well. They have not become old or they are traditional, therefore they are irrelevant. I don't agree. They have their relevancy in particular situations, and these are some of your popular agile practices. If you see it, a lot of places, Scrum, okay, is the most popular, is the most prevalent practice, okay, across all the organizations. So you see people using Scrum, or if someone wants to do Agile and they announce, right? I have been going to a lot of companies, and I do a lot of consulting, and uh, between the consulting assignment and I meeting them for the first time, there are a lot of discussions which going on, and in fact, many of the organizations. Think that they can do Scrum on their own, which is very true, and they don't actually take help of any consultant, and they say that they announce that no, we are already agile, we are doing Scrum. Uh, Although I agree, Scrum is very easy to adopt. It is, if you adopt Scrum with the agile mindset, it becomes impactful. So that's where is the challenge. But yes, Scrum is the most popular, okay, or I will call the traditional agile practice. If I have to use that as a reference point, okay, of a traditional agile practice, because everyone, okay, goes to, that's their starting point, and rightly so, because it is very easy to adopt. Scrum is absolutely easy to adopt. You do a Scrum training, or even you do a self study, and it is very easy to understand. It's a great starting point. You can adopt easily. What you need, what is the difficult part, of course, is the agile mindset, which doesn't come easily. But as a method, as a practice, with the 5 ceremonies and how to do things with the different roles that you have, it's very easy to understand, but maybe difficult to implement. Okay, no, this is, I think most of you must be aware of the Scrum roles of product owner, Scrum master, and the stakeholders and the team. But no, and the artifacts and the ceremonies. I'm not going to talk about that today. That is not that's something which you are all aware. But this is the most popular practice, and one of the reasons why it is popular, it is because it is prescriptive in nature, right? It is prescriptive in nature. Like, when you don't know what to do, no, you are confused, and you get a prescription. Take medicines morning and evening, one dose. I think it's very easy, and you get better with that prescription. I think no, you it's very easy to do things. which is probably not there in many of the other agile practices. So that's why I said it's a great starting point. When you don't know what to do and your doctor, your coach gives the prescription, this is how you need to do things. I think this is what you will be doing. That is okay. This Scrum works. It delivers quick results because you are now working in a iterative mode. Okay, so you get better results than perhaps earlier when you were doing, say, in a traditional waterfall way. Okay, it gives a good structural base in terms of good structure, who will do what. The team is given the accountability to do things, so they are empowered to do things. Okay, things are pretty transparent, right? Everyone knows what is going on. Everyone gets to know what has been done. It has been shown almost instantly, maybe it's a 2 week or a 4 week sprint or an iteration. The inherent nature of Scrum practice is that you need to be collaborative. You need to talk with different people to get the work done. So it's inherently that whole practice is collaborative nature. Okay, you are not given a task and you sit independently and do that, which is like a little bit uh, uh, of a traditional waterfall method. You are given the task, the project manager is accountable, he controls the thing, he asks you, and the collaboration aspect is not as a high degree as in a agile practice. So there are a lot of other things I just picked up. Okay, what I thought is relevant, why it works, and okay, the advantages after a certain point can become a disadvantage for the Scrum or your traditional agile. So the advantages absolutely are brilliant, but if you're doing the same thing again and again, of course, Scrum purists, they say you can tailor it, but you reach a plateau after you go on an improvement. So the continuous improvement aspect is not really inbuilt in the Scrum practice. The Scrum practice is basically following the process, right? So the approach is somewhere lacking when you start doing it, right? Generally, what happens? Scrum works, okay, for a little stable project where the requirements are not changing more frequently. For example, suppose I am in ProThoughts. My biggest assets is my website because we do a lot of online stuff. We get customers now from 50 countries. Okay, we do online stuff. So there are a lot of changes that we do on the website almost on a daily basis. I cannot afford to have a Scrum team to do that. I need to have a lean way of working, not a Scrum way of working, because my requirements are changing more frequently. Okay. So what happens is, okay, no, the Scrum may fall apart when the requirements are changing more frequently, right? So also, if the team doesn't, okay, work as per the prescription, they need to do things, they do not follow the process right, it will break the Scrum. And generally it happens, right? You don't want to do it in a very structured way. Okay, that also will not work. Okay, sometimes, okay, you talk of a cross-functional team, the usage, okay, we talk of different teams having different skills. Sometimes the teams are not effective given the nature of the work. So Scrum always will not work given the context of the project that you are working. So these are some of your disadvantages. Okay, So so everywhere it will be advantage and disadvantage for sure, right? Okay. Like I said, okay, as things have improved, okay, why there are lot of practices which are evolved. So from 2000 to 2010, I think Scrum was the preferred one, and of course today also is preferred one. But there are a lot of practices and methods and frameworks which have evolved, okay, in Agile. This is the version 10, which is, I think, they updated in 2021, I guess. I'm not too sure. Okay. And it talks about a lot of these things which are there in Agile. Things keep on getting added, new practices, new ways of doing these things keep on happening in agility. Because I think one method is not good enough for that particular project. Okay, the traditional agile was not sufficient to address a lot of situations, and therefore probably you got into a lot of this practice. Like scaling doesn't come to Scrum. Okay, if you want to scale your across the organization, it is not, you call Scrum of Scrums, but it really doesn't actually happen. Okay, so there are different limitations, and you actually get into a plethora of agile practices. So that's where we stand today, and that's the reality. And this comes to a very good question, okay, about the agile and its misconceptions, okay. And I got this is a very nice diagram from the Infosys knowledge site, okay, which is on the public domain, of course, where I picked it up. But I like the site where they explained that today sometimes what happens is that people are so overzealous and having too much of enthusiasm that they consider to give a lot of importance to the tools of agile. They give the methods are becoming more important than the purpose. So people are more focusing whether I'm following the Jira better, okay, whether it's giving the right output. I do not actually think much on the mindset. On am I following the agile mindset? Am I following the agile values principle? That has been ignored, and you focus on this. Also, sometimes when you are doing, okay, a transformation, you are too much adhering to the mindset. What you need is a great balance between these two things, which will actually help you to demonstrate agility and improve outcomes. That's what you want, right? Improve outcomes for your projects. Why? What is agility? Agility is a concept, okay, a way of thinking to improve the way you work, okay, so that you have better outcomes from what you had earlier. So that's a concept. That concept is manifested through a lot of tools or practices, frameworks, or whatever you call. That's simple as it is. So agile, I since I talked about some misconceptions, there are many misconceptions about agile. Agile is not, first of all, a practice. Okay, yeah, no, agile is not a practice. Agile is a way of thinking. Okay, okay, you don't want to limit agility with a framework. Framework means you have some boundaries, you have some do's and don'ts to do this, want to do that, right? So so agility is there so that you can deliver the value to the customer sooner, and there are benefits of doing that, because if you deliver the value sooner, customer will consume the value sooner, and in that whole process you have lesser rework, lesser feedback, and there are a lot of advantages of doing that. Basically your cost of delay has reduced. So I okay, I'm going to take about the disadvantages or misconceptions about agile in a separate webinar, although this is not kind of a very important slide, but I wanted to just give a little bit of okay, a 2-minute thing on this, which comes to now my other side of the debate, which is okay, the disciplined agile. Okay, there are some questions, okay, which I am reading. Screen is print. Okay, am I visible, right, guys? Okay, give a thumbs up. So Dominic has said my screen is print. I'm visible, you can audible, right? Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, right. So Vimal has asked, isn't retrospective meant for continuous improvement in Scrum methodology? Yeah, absolutely. Uh, yeah, so a very good question, because I said no, continuous improvement is not inbuilt as a character in Scrum. So yes, you can say that, okay, but after a certain point, what you're constrained in Agile, this is my feeling, is that you always work within the boundaries of that 5 ceremonies. So you do not go beyond the methods or practices which the team members already know. So what you are improving is a very limited improvement, which gives dividends over some period of time. But if you want to go on a longer horizon, be it a long-standing team, I would not suggest. I would not know the team would have outgrown the improvement, and they will be doing the same thing again and again. So I don't think that continuous improvement will be continuous after a certain point of time. Right? That's why I said that it's not ingrained as a character in the Scrum methodology. Adatayo Atiba, yeah, hi. You can get a recording of this webinar. Of course, you will get it. We upload it on our ProThoughts YouTube channel, and you can actually review and work on that. Oh, Kausto has said not able to hear the audio. Am I audible, right, guys? I think you are asking questions, so I am audible. Kausto, you need to change that. Give me a thumbs up, please. Yeah, good. I'm scared. I'm only talking and there is no audio. Great. Okay. Super. Thank you so much. Right. Good. So let me continue with the other side of debate, which is disciplined agile. And I just attended yesterday a talk on disciplined agile, where the founders had come along with Curtis, who is from PMI, and they were they were talking about, and they a little encouraging for me, because I'm very much invested in disciplined agile, and PMI is doing continued investment on disciplined agile. It's good to hear. But let me tell you what is disciplined agile. Uh, so disciplined agile is like a huge knowledge base, okay, which has 143 decision points, which covers a lot of considerations for your project. So it gives you a lot of choices. It caters to a lot of different situations in the project which you could not have thought about as like one team. It's beyond one team or many teams as well, right? And within each decision point, okay, there is a path, a guidance, okay, to help you take a decision and improve the way you're working. And this paths, different paths or different options to help you improve have been leveraged through the different agile practices that are available, which I showed you earlier in the diagram. So disciplined agile is not a framework or a practice. In fact, it complements the framework or practice. Let me tell you what are this I use it with a lot of my earlier presentations. The methodology is something which you do over and over to give a proven result, right? That is a methodology, and practice is guidelines, the do's and don'ts, okay, to do that. Like Scrum, I would say, is a practice, okay, and what you adopt and follow your own becomes a methodology. Whereas disciplined agile is a toolkit. Okay, disciplined agile is a toolkit. Toolkit means it actually leverages a lot of this practice and then helps you to take decisions. So toolkit is a complementary thing with the practices, right? Right? That's what it is. So what it does is that it gives you guidance, and the idea of disciplined agile is to help you do continuous improvement. In that continuous improvement, retrospective is one of the options. There can be other options as well, right? So there was a question about retrospective. So that's the beauty of disciplined agile. It goes beyond and provides you different paths and options which you can leverage so that you can be better at your work. It exposes you to a lot of this agile practice which has already been built. So it has all these things. Okay. Let me help you with a video on disciplined agile, and that can maybe give you some idea about that. Okay, hear this video.
Disciplined Agile is a hybrid of the world's leading practices and methods that provides straightforward guidance to enable you to choose your way of working. It's a people-first, learning-oriented hybrid agile toolkit that will enable you to effectively combine strategies from Scrum, Agile modeling, extreme programming, Kanban, Agile data, SAFe, and many other sources, so you can tailor and scale based on the situation you face. You'll be able to look beyond prescriptive Agile frameworks and get better results and reach true business agility faster. How does it all work? It all starts with process goals. Process goals are high-level process outcomes. Things like improving quality, coordinating activities, or exploring the initial scope of a project. To make a change, simply select the process goal most closely aligned with the change you want or need to make. Each of these process goals is elaborated by a process goal diagram. Process goal diagrams are visual depictions of the aspects, which Disciplined Agile calls decision points. You need to think through about the goal and several options to choose from. Each will have its advantages and disadvantages. To examine these advantages and disadvantages, Disciplined Agile provides option descriptions and trade-offs tables. With Disciplined Agile, instead of failing faster, you'll have the decision support to help you succeed sooner.
So this is pretty interesting, of succeeding sooner than failing faster. Now the idea is how I can deliver the value sooner. That's a basic principle of agility. That's a basic derivative of lean methodology, where how I can deliver the value sooner. One of the prime books is Choose Your Way of Working. Okay, and okay, one of the things of disciplined agile is that it caters to every function of in the organization. So if your organization needs to be agile, you need every function, not only your IT or development team, to be agile. No, you want everyone, okay, including your operations, including your marketing team, including your product team, including your portfolio team, perhaps everyone in the chain that is there in the organization to be agile, to like agile mindset or agile, okay, to deliver the value sooner to agile. Because if you know the theory of constraint, the speed of any item is the speed of the lowest, okay, or the lowest speed of the person. Like if you're going on a trek, okay, this is nicely explained by uh, the gold writer, okay, Eli Goldrat, okay, that okay, if you're going on the trek, your speed of climbing the mountain is the speed of the slowest person. That's the speed. Agility is about time to market is also should be small. It's on the correctness of the deliverable, but the time to market small. So idea is that everyone should be agile, and disciplined agile talks about giving that options or decision paths to all the functions so that they can take better decisions for the organization or for their functions. So it's a very interesting thing, right? And they give it, this is the process goal which I talked about, the trade-offs and all. Maybe I will use a different session, okay, I'm just taking the time, a different section to elaborate that as well. Okay, so good. So I just wanted to show you this. There's a lot of the idea of showing you this is it's too much. It's a great knowledge base to help you take decisions and make your choices, right? So let me come back, okay, and spend some time on this. Okay, that's what my whole debate was, and that was the summary, okay, which was what is the traditional agile and what is disciplined agile, okay. No, so what I tried to do here is, okay, do a comparison snapshot. There can be a lot of pointers, but what I think, disciplined agile complements the traditional agile. The traditional agile can be your set of really popular practices like Scrum, Extreme Programming, Crystal, a lot of these practices. It disciplined agile complements that. Okay, you're using that practice as well. In fact, disciplined agile also recommends Scrum or Agile as they call it as the starting point because it's easy to adopt. But the idea of traditional agile and why there is a mushrooming of so many practices, the traditional agile works best for a particular situation and for a particular context, okay, and for a particular team. Like for Scrum, it's a great starting point for a team who has relatively good stability. The requirements do not change maybe on a daily basis. Whereas the disciplined agile is leveraging this, but it is giving access is for all the projects for everyone in the organization because it is a knowledge base. It's like a consolidated of data of all the practices, okay, together, and it's like uh, a box where you can actually pull out what you want. So this is something a great asset of disciplined design. So it caters to the breadth and depth. Okay, both in traditional agile. Okay, you have good depth. Okay, it can be limited, like I explained for Scrum. It definitely doesn't go beyond certain teams. Okay. Uh, Disciplined agile can be scaled across the organization. It starts with teams, but it goes across the organization. Traditional agile is focused typically on development teams. It doesn't focus on any other teams as in general. It has been focusing on that. Okay. The idea of disciplined agile is to improve your way of working, evolve, improve your way of working for better effective outcomes. And the whole concept, I have practiced Scrum and traditional agile The idea is how I can stick to the rules, okay, and produce output. The more emphasis in a traditional agile is to follow that kind of general like golden rules, and that can help you. So that's something which is the fulcrum here for traditional agile. Whereas in disciplined agile, the focus, the design is to help you evolve, right? In disciplined agile, you continuously evolve as a team over a period of time. In traditional agile, okay, you will actually reach a plateau after a certain point, and then probably you want to explore tailoring that or switch to another practice, right? Like I said, disciplined agile, it's a plethora of practices. Here it's one practice that you need to choose from. So I hope that you're getting an idea about traditional agile and disciplined agile. Okay, uh, how they are similar yet different in their aspects, right? Although I am a proponent of disciplined agile, okay, uh, I I will come to this. Okay, uh, I will not say that disciplined agile is better than traditional agile. I think what works for you is the best. Okay. What is working for you is the best. And you need to be really, okay, unbiased, okay, about that, and okay, uh, prove for yourself. Like what happens if you're really following good agile, it will actually show you cracks in your organization. And you should be honest to accept it. There are bad news when you follow agile, and that's something is a bitter pill for a lot of leaders in the organization, and therefore they are okay, right? As long as things are going on constantly all right, they will be fine. So if you want to actually follow right, you need to be really open and transparent about which is giving you the best. Okay, so there are a lot of agile practices because they have the relevancy, and there are teams which they find are the best in that situation. But every team, there are dynamics within the team, and there are situation in the team involved that keeps on changing, and that's something which you need to keep in mind, right? Disciplined agile, okay, is a complementary to your traditional agile practice, and it leverages a lot of this agile practices, right? It gives you, okay, a decision making path. So one of the things I would like to mention for disciplined agile is that it is designed to make you a coach. And a coach is way different from a scrum master. Coach works outside the team. Scrum master works inside the team. And I have done one webinar. What is the difference between scrum master and a coach? And coach is the one who inspires the team to realize their potential. So coach's main job is to make the team self-organizing, self-improving, and self-learning. That's the ultimate role of a coach. Okay, be it any coach, football coach, cricket coach, whatever coach you say, or agile coach. Okay, disciplined agile is made designed to make you as a coach. Okay, and that's what today's organizations want. Okay, that the teams become self-organizing, and that's the way, the path to be better at what you do, right? So this were my some of my closing thoughts on today's topic. Okay, I don't know whether I settled the debate, but I think I made my points altogether for you to consider. These are your disciplined agile. Like I said, it's designed to make you a coach. It starts from the scrum master, then it goes to senior scrum master, and then it's coach. And this is a lovely certification called value stream. It's one of my favorites. Because it gives so much of knowledge, and if you really apply it, it really it's very exciting. it will make your life, organizations agility. This is what it is at top level. This is bottom to top. This is top to bottom. So this are good. Okay, this is where I have shown uh, the organization capability and the expertise you want. Okay, I rate DVS a little higher than the DESC in terms of that, but yeah, I just compared each and every certification in terms of their expertise and the value they provide. So that's where I have put that. Okay, just to give you a comparison, I show this slide in many of my webinars as well. Right. Okay. I just checked my time. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to have some time for questions and answers. Before that, I wanted to uh, give this links. Okay, so that you can join the group and be a contributor to the group. So this is our LinkedIn group. Okay, I think everyone can be a part of this group. This is the second largest group after the Disciplined Agile group, which we have, which is there in the US, started by Mark Lenz and Scott Ambler. This is a part of we have started this, so you can be a contributor if you are excited about Disciplined Agile, right, or agility. These are our the upcoming batches. I think we have next Saturday itself the DSSM. We got a very good response for this, and we have the course certification in the October. So I did some 10 episodes for the project forecast on Disciplined Agile. You can check it out and give your feedback on this. Okay. So we are actually open for questions and answers. Lovely. So I have some 13 minutes. I can go beyond 9 as well if there are many question and answer. But yeah, there are already some. Sorry guys, I was actually not looking at the question and answers. I just completed that, but now I can take question and answers. But there were some interesting questions I took at 8:30. So now I can take that. So Jay Chandar has asked a question: inbuilt quality and continuous improvement safe practice too. How DA is more efficient than safe? Okay, that's a lovely question. Okay, how DA is more efficient than safe? I like I said, I will give a diplomat's answer. I think there is everyone is good at what they do. Safe's purpose, the way they do things, are really nice. Okay, Disciplined Agile complements Safe. Okay, in leveraging more things that Safe provides. So I think the breadth which the DA provides is much higher than Safe. The purpose are different. There's a toolkit, that's a framework. There are a lot of similarities, in fact, between the DA and Safe. So if you see the value streams and the concepts of release train is more extended here. Know how you do that. So I think the value stream is where a lot of concepts are way different than Safe, although it's taken from Safe. So maybe to go into the minute differences, we need to have a different session altogether. Although I have done a webinar, okay, on the differences between Safe and DA. It was done by one of the experts of Safe. You can refer it on the YouTube channel as well. Okay, on ProThoughts YouTube channel, differences between DA and Safe. The second question is, how Disciplined Agile help in operational project complementing ITIS processes? Okay, so Disciplined Agile, okay, have like I said, Disciplined Agile caters to each function in the organization, even the operations. So if Pradeep, your question is on operations, like how to optimize the operations, or how to improve the operations or that department. Disciplined Agile has many options, decision paths for the operation teams to leverage that. So operations teams, there is a DevOps layer in Disciplined Agile, which has the data management, which has security, which has IT operations, which has business operations. For each of these functions, you have decision path and practices and options, which you can actually leverage, okay, and see how it can be beneficial for the teams. I would encourage you to see that. If you are from the operations team, type in your internet browser, okay, DAD browser, and the browser will open and you will see a DAD browser, which is no uh, online, and you that is Disciplined Agile, uh, and you can see many options, okay, for the different teams that you have. Okay. Oh, Pradeep said voice is going down. Sorry, I didn't check that. Okay. Can you please explain the toolkit for Disciplined Agile? Okay, I explained in a very short while. Disciplined Agile toolkit means, Dominic, is that uh, it is in a short thing is that it contains a lot of tools. If I equate tools with practices, methods, or options, it contains a lot of these practices or options or choices, which is embedded in a toolbox. You can see Disciplined Agile as a toolbox, and depending on what is your requirement or situation, you will remove one tool. Okay, so one spanner instead of a screwdriver. That spanner is nothing but that practice which is very relevant to your situation. So Disciplined Agile reads your situation and recommends a tool or an option or a choice or a practice that can help you be better, okay, to deal with that situation and be better with your outcomes, right? So maybe that will help. David is asking, does DA help with DevOps teams? Absolutely. I just answered that. Okay. So, David, I just answered to Pradeep, I guess. Okay. There is a DevOps layer, okay, DevOps layer in Disciplined Agile, which gives you strategies and options, okay, for the DevOps teams. The DevOps teams will be typically, DevOps is development and operation like continuous flow. So, delivery teams plus the data management, security, IT operations, business operations, support teams, all this will come into that. Lovely. Happy to answer more questions. We have a time on hand. Okay. While you are answering the questions, okay, please rate on this. That will really help us to know how we are doing on this, and may come with some good interesting topics as well to you, how we do on this. Answer the different polls. Please answer. Okay, there was a good audience. Only 50% have answered. Please answer, everyone. All the polls. That would really help. Okay, I'm putting anyways the CCRS claim code. Okay, I can't put it. Okay, here you go. Okay, I put it in the question and answer. Okay, so Dominic has a question which I would. It's a lovely question, Dominic. Okay, how to introduce DA to a team? Uh, uh, so there are various ways to introduce DA to the team. Okay, one is, okay, to help understand. Okay, we do a DA introductory session where we actually do know what is DA and introduce DA with its benefits and how to use the DA. So we have a training module to do that. Okay, to introduce DA to the team. We also know PMI, with their consulting partners, have a workshop for DA in for teams. What they do is that they introduce the DA, and like we have in the master level certifications, we have improvement boards. So after introducing DA, the teams actually find out what are the problems exist between the team. So as a takeaway of that session, they try to see what are the problems. Okay, so it's very very uh, uh, impactful and practical that you attend a session and you get to know the problems which you need to work out the next day when you go back to your workplace. It's just not knowledge that you gain. So most of the master certification which I like about Disciplined Agile is the synthesis. It's how you can use it. Okay, and what you do with that knowledge is something which is very, I think, find it very nice about that. I hope I answer your questions, but if you need more information, Dominic, uh, please ping me and I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay, let me I will also give my LinkedIn ID so that you can connect with me. So that can, we can also talk offline whenever you guys want. So let me just. This is my LinkedIn ID for anyone to discuss offline. I want. Okay. Okay, you can see only that's a two limitation, Dominic, but yeah. But I just put my LinkedIn ID for everyone so that you want to discuss anything offline, I'll happy to spend my time on discussing that. Any further questions? Any further questions? Okay. So we chose topics. We choose topics which are interesting from that. For some people, it might be very easy. For some people, it might be very difficult to comprehend. But yes, okay. But we try to make it okay. Try to simplify things where people can understand, apply, and make sense out of it, and it's a value add at the end of your 1 hour of investment. We try to do that. Great, guys. So if there are no more questions, okay, I think we can call it off. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Okay. It was lovely interacting with you. There are a lot of questions, and I was happy to answer. I don't know to what extent it was satisfying for the answers that I've given. If you have still queries, still questions, you can reach out to me on my personal LinkedIn, and we can have an offline discussion. So thank you all. I hope the session was valuable, and no, thank you for your feedback. And we soon see you in the next webinar from ProThoughts. Thank you so much. Good night. Warm namaste from myself.